So we've got a story here about a yacht, a $200 million yacht, apparently breaking down on the way through the Bay of Biscay. The vessel is owned by the ex-NHL owner, Dan Schneider. Now, we're going to read from the Daily Mail because they were the ones who covered this story initially. The name of the article is Ex-NFL Owner's Stunning $200 Million Yacht Breaks Down as It's Forced to Limp Back to the UK Coast. And it reads as this: the $200 million or £149 million super yacht belonging to former NFL team owner Dan Schneider was forced to return to the UK last week after suffering a mechanical problem. The luxury 305-foot yacht, which is 92 metres by the way. It's amazing that in the UK we still don't give metres, still talking feet. Reportedly lost power while travelling through the Bay of Biscay just off the coast of France. Reports have claimed it suffered engine failure. Bay of Biscay can be very, very treacherous, the weather there. So, yeah, not the best place to break down, but it never is when you break down, right? The yacht named Lady S belongs to former Washington Commanders owner, then had to make a humiliating journey back to the UK. These are their words, obviously, because I'm reading from it. It reportedly limped back towards land at just 1.5 knots after losing all power, and eventually docked in the Cornwall town of Falmouth, where it underwent repairs. Several engineers have reportedly flown onto the yacht using its helipad, including one from Holland, where it was manufactured. It remains unclear if Schneider, who is said to be worth in excess of $4.5 billion or £3.3 billion pounds, and spends a lot of time in London, was on board during the unfortunate incident. So that's all the story from that newspaper I'm going to read out. I'm going to talk about a couple of the things that they said in the story. One of the things that they do mention actually is that the vessel's a charter vessel. So whether or not he's on board, it's when a yacht's a charter vessel, there's a lot more reason for it to be moving around when the owner's not on board. But it's extremely unlikely the owner would be on board for a crossing like that. When a vessel's moving from, because the vessel started, which I'll go into in a second, the vessel started in the Mediterranean and then went up to the UK, which is his home base apparently. So it's unlikely the owner would stay on board for that. They usually fly to the yacht, spend their time on board, and then they fly home again, and then the yacht moves when the owner's left. Anyway, we'll look at the AIS data here. The yacht left Saint-Tropez 20th September, heading to Gibraltar, arrived there on the 1st of October, and then headed towards Portugal. The yacht left a location in Portugal. I think it was La Coruña on the 6th of October, and it appears to have slowed or stopped during the crossing over the Bay of Biscay, as they mentioned in the article. Before they got into trouble, it seems they were doing about 10 knots. But then after that, they were doing about 3.5 knots, and they were doing 3.5 knots to 6 knots the rest of the way home. So not 1.5 knots. Maybe there was a period at the end of the trip where they were at that speed, but they certainly were going faster than that. Now that sort of indicates that they might have been on one engine. The fact that they were going so slowly. Usually a yacht can go faster on one engine. They only usually need, depending on the yacht, of course, but they only usually need the second engine if they want to really make, if the yachts, one of the yachts I worked on, the maximum speed was about 18, 19 knots, and we could do 14 knots on one engine. And we only needed the second engine to get the rest of the speed. So, but it does seem like they had problems after that. The yacht arrived in Falmouth, though, under her own steam, right? So it's not, by no stretch of the imagination, is that a humiliating story. Maybe it's humiliating for the person who wrote it because they think that because the person's a billionaire and he's got an expensive yacht, that it's kind of funny that the yacht broke down. But the reality is a yacht it has engines and it has mechanical things, and mechanical things break down, and even $200 million super yachts break down. I've been on a number of them over the years, so there's nothing humiliating about it. The vessel didn't, it's not like the vessel had to be towed as well, which sometimes happens as well. And again, it's not humiliating. I would say humiliating would be crashing your yacht into an island or into something that, crashing your yacht into something would be a bit more humiliating. And like I said, extremely unlikely he was on board at the time of that incident. It's possible, I suppose. It just depends on the owner. But in my experience, owners generally don't want to be on board for that. And also, for him to be on board for like 10 days just to get the yacht back to Falmouth, it doesn't make any sense because he's a billionaire, therefore he's got all kinds of things going on, and they usually just fly home and then get on with it. Hi, thanks very much for watching this video. If you want to see the full news videos, click on the link over here. And if you'd like to find the channels, you can find the links below here. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.